Welcome to today's event showcasing Saginaw Valley State University. My name is Elizabeth Bernhard, Partnership Engagement Manager with Youth Solutions, the statewide nonprofit inspiring and connecting youth to achieve a future beyond imagination. Today's event is being recorded, and specialists and teachers are broadcasting today's discussion to their youth and their classrooms. Throughout the event, please use the chat feature to ask any questions you have throughout, and feel free to unmute yourself at different times when we have question and answer periods for you to ask the questions yourself. In the last few minutes of today's event, we will be holding a prize drawing for two $25 Amazon gift cards. If you are a youth or young person participating today and you would like to be entered into the drawing, please take this time right now to put your name into the chat box. Specialists and teachers, if you are broadcasting this event to your classroom, please enter the names of your students who wish to participate. At the end of the event, we will randomly select two winners. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Travis Sluter, admissions representative with Saginaw Valley State University.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Elizabeth, for the wonderful introduction. My name is Travis Sluter. I am an admissions rep here at SVSU. And let me go ahead and open up this PowerPoint so we can go ahead and get started. So I have been with the university for about 2 years, and I've been in admissions for about 4 years. Before that, I worked in financial aid, but I was born and raised in Michigan and always have been a big proponent of higher ed. A little bit about me: I am a first generation student, perhaps a lot like some of you. So I'm so glad that all of you are here and that you're sharing some of your time here with me on this Tuesday afternoon. So let's go ahead and get started. I like to begin my presentations by starting with let's go ahead and get an idea of what the university looks like. I can tell you 100 great things about the university, but it means nothing if you can't picture yourself here. So let's go ahead and get started. So right in the middle, a lot of those buildings right in the center of the university, that's where a lot of our administrative stuff is. So that's where we have like our library, that's where we have the financial aid office, that's where my office, the admissions office, is. A little bit to the left of there, those big white roof buildings, that's a lot of our athletic buildings. So if you're into athletics at all, whether we just want to go work out, or if you actually want to be a part of our university and playing a varsity sport, or we have club sports, intramural sports, so where you can go ahead and play a pickup game of basketball or some flag football. Those are located right there, including that big one all the way to the left is actually an indoor track. So if you want to run track or something like that, you could certainly do it there. We also hold the state championship every single year for robotics. So if you're into engineering and perhaps into robotics, you may have visited that complex before. A lot of the peripheral buildings around are a lot of our academic buildings. And then in the top left corner, you can see just barely a lot of our student housing buildings, which I'll get to in a few moments to talk about how great those are. But once again, I just want to give you a picture of our university and kind of be able to place a lot of stuff I'm talking about in here. So let's talk about where the university is. So as you can see in the mitten over there on the right-hand side, right by where the thumb is, that is where the university is located. We are not located within the city of Saginaw. We are just outside of it. So I like to kind of consider us like a suburban university where we're just, far enough away where we don't have to worry about, city traffic or city parking or anything like that, but close enough. So if you wanted to go, visit with some friends, or if you have a family that want to go check out our wonderful downtown Saginaw area to be able to check out a lot of the great shopping areas or restaurants, or if you want to go for a short drive, you can be at the big lake, and we have a lot of great rivers if you like to do outdoor stuff. So if you want to kayak, paddleboard, go swimming, or just enjoy the beach, a lot of great options for all sorts of interests are available in the area. So let's talk a little bit about the university. So you may know what you want to do, and you may not have a clue what you want to do, and that's okay. 1 out of 4 students that enter in their freshman year here at SVSU have absolutely no idea what they want to do. And I want to be clear, we do not require for you to know what you want to do before coming here. We're going to help you find that path if you don't know, but I want to make sure that if you perhaps do have an idea what you want to do, we have a lot of great programs here. So if you're thinking about going into education, health, engineering, or any of the other types of sciences, music, theater, I mean, we even have a wonderful program. So if you're into material sciences and learning about what stuff is made out of, we actually have one of the very few in the entire state a major in metallurgy and metal forging. So that's kind of cool too. Perhaps you want to become a nurse. We have one of the largest nursing programs in the entire state. a lot of great options here. And I encourage you that if you're interested in some of these, to make sure to ask questions about it at the end with some of our current students who I have here representing a wide range of interests in the different majors that we have to offer. We also offer graduate programs. So after you receive your bachelor's degree, if you want to pursue perhaps a graduate degree in, going into law or something like that, we have a lot of great master's programs and doctoral programs here, or we can help you go somewhere else as well afterward. And kind of talking about that afterwards. So I talk about like the different programs to make sure that you might want to come here. But I think it's also important for you to realize that this is going to be a place that can really help you get that job. So in fact, the last year that we have full data for, so in 2019, we had a 97% job placement rate. That means 97% of the students that graduated got a job in the field that they were going into within 6 months of graduating. And we're super proud of that. So not only will we have most likely the majors that you're looking for, but also we're offering you an almost 100% job placement rate, which we're really proud of. Once again, we like to brag about there our nursing program. And of course, once again, we have a wonderful business program if you want to go into business, whether that be financing, accounting, a lot of different great options. We have a wonderful business program. And of course, once again, about our, if you want to go into law, we have a great pre-law program as well. So one of the things that we really like to talk about and we like to be able to brag about at our university is the small class size. So we're roughly around 8,000 to 9,000 students, so a lot smaller than a lot of the bigger universities you'd find here within the state of Michigan. So if you're looking for that smaller school feel, I think we're going to be a great fit for you. So students can expect around 25 students per class when they come here. And I say expect, so that's not like some sort of number with it's, faculty to student ratio. I can tell you that when you come here, that you can expect around 25 students. Now, maybe during your freshman year, during your English 101 class, there may be, 30 or 40 students, but after that, you're going to experience that smaller class size, which can be really helpful for you, especially if you're somebody that really likes to get a good relationship with your professor. Perhaps you're going through some difficult classes like calculus or something like that, and you need some more hands-on experience. I think that's going to be great, great for you. But I think it's also really helpful for those students who may not know what they want to go into, or certainly do know what they want to go into, and then want that type of a mentorship to be able to help them go along the way. What's nice about coming here to a smaller class size is getting to know your professor can really help you get those letters of recommendation, which help you get that job after you graduate. Now, letters of recommendation not only is it important to graduate with a degree, but it's also important to have people that support you, that are able to be a reference for you when you graduate, that the place that you're thinking about applying to can call and say, hey, I think this person is a really great fit and will do a great job at your company. And so it's really good to have those relationships, which we think really can really happen in these smaller class fields. Now, once again, kind of talking about that smaller class size, I like to go ahead and expound upon that idea of this student experience that is very much, this homey experience. So we like to talk about that smaller class size. We also like to talk about our on-campus dorms. So we actually have the rated #1 dorms in the entire nation. Now, why that is, we aren't putting you in a tiny little prison cell. We're not putting you in a little 10 by 10 and you have to share a bathroom with 30 other people down the hall. That was my college experience. And let me tell you, it is hard to take a shower in a hall full of guys. That bathroom does not stay clean long. Let's just put it that way. So what's nice about these here is that they're apartment style. So you get your own bathroom, you get your own bedroom where you can shut the door behind you, and you share typically these suites with around 4 other people. So excuse me, with 3 other people. And so there's a main living area, you have your own bedroom, everybody has their own bedroom, and you have a bathroom and you have a kitchen. So in the top right hand corner right there, you can see those ladies in some of our wonderful suites right there. And that you can see that they have a full kitchen right there. They have a refrigerator, they have drawers, cabinets, sinks, stove, all that kind of stuff. So if you get hungry, if you're having friends over, you want to make some hot pockets or something like that, you can certainly do that. But once again, this apartment feel for you. And I like to give people a better picture of what these look like. So, I mean, that's really nice. I can tell you the dorms that I was in back when I was in college did not look like this. They did not look like nice apartments. They looked very much like a regular industrial building and everything like that. So these, once again, are really pretty. They're rather new. They come with Wi-Fi. They come with cable. They come pre-furnished. So all you need to bring is sheets and some clothes and a laptop and a notebook to write stuff down on, and you're ready to go. And then once again, just kind of talking about that student experience, we also, like I talked about, we have some great, we're Division II NCAA athletics for our students. So if you want to be able to participate as a student athlete, we're more than happy to be to have you come and be a student athlete. Otherwise, let's say that you want to go to the games. It's a great way to be able to meet people. We also have over 200 different student organizations on campus. So let's say that you want to be in female leadership, or if you wanted to just go ahead and maybe you're really into video games, we have a video games club. Otherwise, we also have stuff just to be able to hang out and have fun with people. We have two different clubs for that specifically. We have a pie club and a cake club, and they're exactly that. So you go and you hang out and you have dessert. You meet some great people along the way. It's just a great way to be able to meet people, make friends, and make really good lasting connections. Now, not only do we have those smaller classrooms, but we also offer at no additional cost tutoring for you. So let's say that whether you're having difficulty in a course, maybe you're not really good with writing papers, you need some help. More than happy to help you with that. Or maybe you're not good with citations, or perhaps you have a learning condition. So perhaps you have, it takes extra time for you to take a test. Or let's say that you get distracted easily. We can offer you additional test time in our test centers. We can offer you assistance, and once again, you pay for this in your tuition, so you want to use these resources. You can have somebody to help take notes for you. You can go to our tutoring labs. You can go and just do your homework at some of these study centers. Like, these are great ways for you to be able to make sure that, once again, you excel in that work. And perhaps, just talking with the faculty, maybe, your professor isn't available. It's a great way to be able to meet people that are also struggling so that you can work together and be able to study and be able to figure out some of these problems you might be having. And then one of the things I really like to talk about here is the value at SVSU. So we talked about that smaller class size, which is awesome. We talked about that 97% graduation rate. That means, once again, 97% of the students that are graduating are getting into the jobs that they want to. And then we have those #1 rated dorms. We probably, with 100 different academic programs, we probably have what you're thinking about going into. And we do this cheaper than everybody else in the entire state. So let me go ahead and put some numbers behind that. So SVSU's tuition is only $10,000 a year. To put that in perspective, most other universities in the state require $13,000 a year, and that's just for tuition. That doesn't include housing or books or anything. So now I'll get to talking about financial aid in just a moment, but once again, we're looking there at around $3,000 savings per year, and your degree is going to be at least 4 years. $3,000 over 4 years, that's $12,000 saved. That's pretty substantial. Now, like I said, I want to talk about financial aid. So the first part of this was talking a lot about SVSU specifically, and if you have some questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them towards the end of my presentation about SVSU. But I also kind of wanted to be able to talk about financial aid. Like I said, before I got into admissions, I spent a couple of years in financial aid. So I want to be able to talk a lot about the generalities and the importance of looking at financial aid, no matter what grade you're in. I think it's really good to be well-versed and to learn about this stuff early. So one of the very first steps about getting financial aid is doing every year when you beginning your senior year in high school to beginning to do the FAFSA. Now, what is the FAFSA? The FAFSA is an acronym and it stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Now, why is it important? The FAFSA, which you do online, is done every year so that way you can send in basically a report to all the colleges that you're interested in. This report consists of the amount of income your family has and the amount of people that live in the household, and that generates a number, and that number gets sent to every school that you're thinking about going into. And the school looks at that number and gives you as much financial aid as they possibly can based on that number. Now, that number can be different for a lot of different people. So you may, have a certain number, and your friend who you think may be having would have a similar number. That's not necessarily the case. So never assume, what other people's financial situations are or what your financial situation is. In fact, in this next one, I think it's really important to emphasize that no matter what, I want every single person here during their senior year to do the FAFSA. You may be convinced, oh, my family makes too much. Just do it anyway. It's an hour of your time, and you don't know. There might be different scholarships, private scholarships, which I'll get to in a little bit. that might require you to do the FAFSA and might not require, whatever that number is. It's just a blanket requirement for you to do the FAFSA first. So make sure you do it. And once again, it's free. It takes an hour of your time and it's done on the government website, fafsa.gov. Don't go to fafsa.com. That is a website that wants to do it for you and will charge you $80 or more to do the FAFSA for you. You can do it for free at fafsa.gov. And while you're doing this, and like I said, it takes about an hour to do it, you want to send it to every school that you're interested in. You don't necessarily have to have had applied there yet or even done any applications, but you want to send it to every school that you're thinking about going into. Because at that point, you can apply to the schools, and if you get admitted, then you get an award letter that basically says this is what the school is able to offer you based on what the FAFSA says. So once again, I think everybody should do it beginning their sophomore year, and that you should send it to every school that you're interested in. And once again, do it even if you don't think you're going to be able to receive anything. Now let's talk about financial aid specific. So that's the first step, is doing the FAFSA. Now let's talk about some of the stuff that comes as a result of the FAFSA. The best thing to be able to receive on the FAFSA are called grants. Grants are basically free money. Think of it as a coupon. It's reducing your bill. So I said, for example, SVSU, $10,000 a year for tuition. Now the Pell Grant is a grant that's offered to students that don't have a lot of money coming into the household. And they can earn more than $6,000 a year in just that grant, that free money. And they don't have to pay any of it back. So if you have a high level of need and you get that full $6,000, that almost covers the complete $10,000 with just one award right there. And it's likely that SVSU and many other schools are going to help cover the rest of those costs. So it's important to look at these different, to do the FAFSA to be able to get this free money. Now, we just recently announced about a month ago for students with a higher level of need. So let's say that your household earns less than $50,000. We're going to offer, and you're coming in as a freshman, we're going to offer you free tuition for 4 years, no cost to you. That's pretty awesome. We're very proud of that. So that's just one of the different types of financial aid is grants. This is the best one to get. It requires nothing to do besides the FAFSA. Now, scholarships. You probably heard of these. They're really important to do and they're great. There's nothing wrong with scholarships. However, often they require a separate step, which is why I kind of include them as the second best, because they often require you to do perhaps an essay or an application. Now, scholarships now here at SVSU and at many other different public universities will offer you scholarships based on how well you've done in classes. And I've included right in here a little picture so you can kind of see if you apply with your GPA. These ones that you see right here on the side, they don't require any additional application. You apply to the university and you get these automatically. They're great. They're kind of like those grants. Now, there's other types of scholarships that are based off of you doing an essay and being able to talk about yourself. Those are typically done, they're called private scholarships. They're offered through your university. They could be offered through, let's say, athletics. So if you want to be able to play a sport, sometimes you can get a scholarship based on the sport you're playing, or you can get them for some extracurricular activities. So let's say that you're interested in 4-H. So if you're an outdoor person, you like working with horses and that kind of stuff, 4-H has some great scholarship programs. Otherwise, if you do like some volunteering or some service opportunities, you get scholarships through that. Scholarships from your parents' employer, they typically can have a scholarship for you. Even your bank could have a scholarship for you to apply to. So once again, it's important to think when it comes into your senior year, this is when you want to start applying to them. And when to start applying them, like I said, your senior year, but in the fall. Don't wait. There's a lot of students that are coming to me right now thinking about doing the applications. It's well past that time. During your senior year, during the fall is a time to do applications for private scholarships. This is the one that I want you guys to avoid at all costs. I do not want you guys to take out loans. As somebody who's paying them back, let me tell you, they are not fun. They suck. You do not want to take out student loans. It's really easy to do, and they make it really easy to accept them, but it is difficult to balance payments after graduation, especially when you want to live on your own. You just got this great new job and you want to live in an apartment and you want to get a dog or something like that. It becomes difficult to pay the bill when it comes to, paying for the loans. So I mentioned this one because it's important, because some students will need to take student loans out. But I want to let you know that if you begin the process with plenty of time, you should be able to take out no loans or a minimum amount of loans being that you have looked through and you've applied to as many different schools as you can, that you've done the FAFSA, that you've gotten all those grants, you've applied to as many scholarships as you can. I often recommend students to do probably like during your senior year, during that fall, at least 2 hours a week of applying to scholarships. That's kind of the goal. Now, you can kind of think of this as a part-time job when it comes to applying to scholarships, and I'll get more to student loans in just a moment. Think of it as a part-time job because you're putting in time, and when you're awarded scholarships, that means that you're going to be earning money. So let's say that you put in an hour to one scholarship and you get $500 per year for 4 years. That means that 1 hour paid you $2,000. I would love to have a job that pays me $2,000 an hour. So think of it that way. Think of the time that you're putting in is going to be money coming out. Now, once again, let's go back to these loans. So once again, these may be necessary for some students to take out. Now, what to do for that is to make sure when you do the FAFSA, you're awarded scholarships automatically through the FAFSA. These aren't bad. You can certainly do these, but these are the ones you want to go to first. Now, if you have to go beyond those, there are a couple different loans that at that point, I recommend you reaching out to the financial aid office of the school that you're really thinking about going to and talking about the different loans at that point. But I won't get too deep in the weeds, but I want to make sure that a lot of you, if you're in your freshman year, junior year, sophomore year, when it becomes your time for senior year, that you begin those applications for scholarships and everything during the fall. And with that, I didn't want to get down too far in the weeds. I want to open this up to be able to answer any questions you have, but I also wanted to open it up for communication with you guys. Once again, I'm an admissions representative at SVSU, but I'm happy to help you no matter where you're at in the process. You can be a freshman and have some questions. That's totally fine. You know, I'm more than happy to talk with you or your parents, and you can go ahead and send me an email. I have my phone number right there, so if you want to give me a call, or that's also a text line. So if you want to text me, you know, that's totally fine as well. Now, if we've gone through this and SVSU sounds like a good option, I encourage you to go to that svsu.edu website /Travis. That will allow you to put in some information. And then once you put in that information, like your name, your email, your phone number, that will allow me to be in contact with you, to be able to contact you regarding, you know, upcoming events that might be of interest to you or whatever. And then lastly, I want to be able to include in here our virtual tour. So I showed you a very, very, very small glimpse of our university. But if you take out your smartphone and you are able to take out the camera app, if you were to hover over that little QR code right there, it'll bring you right to the YouTube playlist where it shows you all of our main points we like to talk about, including a lot of the different majors we have there. So feel free to check that out. I think it's like, you know, a half an hour worth of content. It's a great thing to be able to watch by yourself or maybe with your parents. And with that, I'd like to end my presentation. I can go ahead and answer some questions. And then once we're done with that, I do have a current student panel for you guys to ask questions, and I'll invite Elizabeth back in to be able to start that. So we'll go ahead and answer any sort of questions. So Daniel or Kelsey, do we have any questions we think would be good for me?
It was a great presentation, Travis. I love the coverage that you did with financial aid and grants and scholarships, and absolutely agree with you. Avoid student loans if at all possible. So great job. Very, very good information. Can you give us some information about what SVSU looks for in potential students?
Great question. So we're really looking for students that are going to put in the work to be able to, you know, once again, we have a great graduation rate. And because of that, excuse me, a job placement rate. And because of that, it's because we can recognize the students that are going to be here to put in the time. And then, of course, we have a great reputation in the local market for our students getting jobs. And so we want the students that are going to go ahead and continue that reputation. So generally, we're looking for students, you know, and you know, at the very minimum, around a 2.5 to a 3.0. That's the bare minimum that we're looking at. Now, if you're below that, I don't want to scare you away. That does not mean that we won't consider you. We never auto deny any student. We will always first, if you are below what we consider our minimum GPA for admission, we hand review it. And we go and we'll ask for some letters of recommendation from perhaps your high school counselors or your teachers or just some other people besides just, you know, your parents or a sibling or friend. We want some other outside support to be able to see Perhaps you had a really rough freshman year. Perhaps something devastating happened during your freshman year and you've been working really hard since that. And that's what I want to hear, because then I'll have a personal interview with you to be able to discuss, what are some of the things that you've been doing to really kick butt and, get your grades in gear. So that way we can go ahead and, at that point, we could consider you for admission, even though you're technically below what we consider it. But what we're looking for students is, once again, that drive to be able to excel at the classwork, that want to be here, that are friendly. That's one of the biggest things we like to talk about as far as bragging about the university, is we have such a great inclusive environment for our students, that your professors going to get to know you by your first name within the first 2 weeks of classes, and they're going to see you outside of class and they're going to say, hey, how are things going? And if they recognize you're in a freshman class, they'll be like, how's your adjustment going? And you'll see that from a lot of your colleagues in your classes too. So we're looking for people that are willing to reciprocate that are going to care for other people as well. But once again, we're looking for those students that are going to be putting in that drive for that 4 years, that are really going to keep that great SVSU name, and that are going to, what our employers are looking for.
Right. Travis, in the beginning, you mentioned that you yourself are a first generation college student. Can you speak to us about the resources that SVSU has for first gen students?
Yeah, so we have a lot of great resources. Now, we don't have Trio, which is what really helped me in my first steps. So I don't know if any of you perhaps have ever heard of Trio. It's a wonderful federally funded program that helps students in their first steps, as far as working through college, that can really help you with a lot of the things that first generation students run into. However, we do have a lot of great first generation resources through whether it be our multicultural center, that they're more than happy to welcome you. You don't have to be a student from a certain type of background to be able to be a part of their group. First generation is enough for them to come on, and Dr. Garcia will go ahead and take you in and make sure that you have the resources that you need to be able to make sure you excel. Along with, if you want to live on campus, we have a lot of great groups for first generation students to be a part of. And in fact, I bet even some of my current students are first generation students. If I do have any of my current students here that are first generation, they can go ahead and talk about some of the resources they use. But we have a lot of wonderful resources to make sure that transition between high school and college, which can be a challenge, is smooth. And one of the nice things about coming to SVSU that I found that's really helpful when I was going through my journey as a first generation student is the ability to be able to meet with the same academic advisor time and time again. There comes a lot of anxiety when it comes to meeting somebody new, for sure. If you don't know the correct language, you don't know what you're supposed to say or anything like that, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. And that's okay. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with being anxious or nervous or anything like that. But I want to let you know that we are going to take care of you, that you'll be able to meet with the same academic advisor that's going to be able to know you and be able to make sure that you stay on track with whatever you want to do for your degree. And let's say that you've changed your mind. All of us probably have gone through in our bachelor program, have changed our idea what we wanted to do for what we want to do for our study. So I changed from wanting to dig up dinosaur bones to going in and working in higher ed, and so that's a big difference. And my academic advisor was able to help me the entire way. They're like, okay, you're not taking any of these classes anymore, and they were able to put me on the path to where I needed to go. And that's what something that SVSU can help you with, for sure.
Great. Thank you, Travis. And how about if we meet your SVSU students now?
Awesome. Can we go ahead and admit Keith, Freddie, Maddie, and Natalie? I don't know if I can see them.
I think they
Hi,
might.
Travis. I think we're already all in.
Awesome. Welcome, friends. These are my current student panel. So glad to have them aboard. I think there is a way to be able to make them at the top. There's Maddie. Is there a way to be able to pin you guys to the top?
I don't believe we can pin all four simultaneously.
Okay, not a problem. But I want to welcome these four. These are current students, and we'll go ahead and give you guys a few minutes to introduce yourself. Maddie, do you want to go ahead and start it?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Maddie. I'm from the Sparta area, so about 20 minutes north of Grand Rapids. And I'm a newly business management and finance double major. I was engineering, so I can talk a lot about switching your majors very quickly mid-semester. But I am a first year and I am the tour coordinator of the admissions office. And Freddie, do you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go. First off, can everyone hear me?
We can.
Yes, awesome. So my name is Freddie Thompson. I am a third year communication major, marketing minor. I'm actually on major number 3 right now, so I can also tell you all about what's involved with changing your major. I'm from Elmont, which is a small town, about an hour 15 southeast of here.
And Keith, do you want to go next? Okay, let's see.
Hello, my name is Keith. I am from Mount Morris, Michigan. It's about 45 minutes from here. I was an early childhood education major. Now I actually changed my major yesterday to criminal justice. And I am on the Saginaw Valley football team, and I am a junior here.
And then our last person is Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie Ferguson. I am a junior nursing major, and I'm from Romeo, which is about an hour and a half away.
Awesome. Well, this is my current student panel. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me and with Youth Solutions today. So I think we'll just go ahead and open it up to if there are anybody watching. If you want to go ahead and put some questions in the chat, be more than happy to have them ask for our current student. You can be as difficult questions as you want them to be more than happy to answer it to them. That's what they volunteer for.
Can you talk to us about what it's like to be a first year student at SVSU?
Sure. So I'm a first year. I came from a really small town compared to most people. I graduated with like 160 kids. So when I came to SVSU, I chose it because it was small and it felt like my home, like my high school. The professors, when I came to visit the second time, the ones I saw before still knew my name. So I knew that I could make it. Being a first year is really awesome because your professors treat you the same whether you're a first or fourth year, as in they're always there to help. They're always there to try and help change your major, help you with your homework assignments. And it's pretty easy. All the academic advising, financial aid, they understand that first years have no clue what they're doing when it comes to college. And so they're super like step-by-step walking you through it, but giving you the independence you need to feel like you're doing it on your own.
Do you participate in any clubs or student organizations? If so, which ones?
I think we all did, so we could probably go down the list, but I'm in the equestrian team. So for that, I compete on the like college level of showing horses. And then we're all a part of Club Red, which is our tour guide program. And I'm also a part of FEM, which is Female Empowerment and Multicultural Education, and Cake Club, because who doesn't like to eat cake? But Natalie, what clubs are you in?
So currently I'm involved in Forever Red. I'm actually the acting secretary. Forever Red's like the student alumni organization. So we work with alumni to form mentorships and connections for your future. And we also do like professional skills building, like resumes and professional dinners and things like that. And then I just recently joined Women in Healthcare, which is an organization empowering women in healthcare. So, yeah.
How about you, Keith?
I'm just doing football and Club Red, but there's a whole lot of clubs that I know. Like there's like you said, a cake club. I know there's a pie club as well. And yeah, that's about it.
And Freddie.
Yeah, so currently I'm just involved in Club Red. Outside of that, I've been focusing mainly on my academics and getting all that stuff right. But I'm definitely gonna be looking at a lot of the other amazing clubs we have for options this fall to get more involved on campus.
All right, as we all know, going to college is not just about going to class. So talk to us about what the social scene is like at SVSU and how is the food on campus?
I can talk to the social life. My favorite thing that I tell people when I'm taking them on tours is if you meet someone once, you're officially friends. So if you meet someone on this campus once and then you see them again in the hallway, you can expect to have a 10-minute conversation in the hallway talking to them. And that does not matter like grade, major, background. Everyone here is the SVSU family. We're all Cardinals. And so if you're struggling, especially the big thing is people are worried like first week of college, I'm going to get lost. I'm not going to make friends. That will never happen on this campus. Never say never, but super rare because there will always be someone who's been there for a year who knows you look lost and will help point you in the right direction. And you'll walk into your class and no one knows anyone in your first year classes. So you're like, hey, so you make a group chat to help get through class. You'll always have friends. But does someone want to answer the food question?
Sure, I will. The food's actually pretty good, honestly. Like, I've had a lot worse, like in terms of like the marketplace. So the food's actually pretty good, being that it's more cafeteria style. But we got a lot of options here on campus. The Cardinal Cafe's got like Panda Express, Subway, Grillworks, Greens, and then we also have Papa John's, which is my favorite for just going with my friends in the evenings. I can't even. I lost count of how many times I've been. So the food's pretty good.
Great. Is there any Greek life at SVSU?
Natalie, you want to talk about Greek life?
Yeah, I can. So, yes, there is Greek life, but it's a little bit different than the stereotypical Greek life. So we don't have any sorority or fraternity houses, but we still do have the organizations. They meet like regular clubs, and there's professional fraternities and sororities, social ones, as well as cultural-based ones too.
Great. What advice would you give to a senior who knows they want to go to college, but they have no idea what they want to study or what they want to do after they graduate?
My biggest piece of advice is don't stress, because 66% of students change their major in their first year. So if you go from undecided to a new major, that's just changing your major. Once you get to college, there's a lot of different classes that you can take that aren't like high school where everyone has to take history. You can pick a history that's interesting to you. You can pick a writing about aliens. There's a class about that. And really get into what you like to think about. And you can meet with all these professors. I know when I changed my major, I emailed the 10 adjunct engineering professors and said, what do you guys do in your job and why do you like it? And I thought, would I like that or no? And that's how I changed. And that's a great thing to do when you get to college, is just ask around. What do you do? We have a really good a focus test that you answer. It's like 5 different tests that ultimately come together to tell you like you're more a business person or you're more health and human services, like you want to take care of people. And it really narrows down your search of it. Like, I could never be a high school teacher because I am not patient enough. So things like that. And that's a great thing to do. Just making sure you're kind to yourself in the process of not knowing what you want to do is the big thing. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
Sure, I will. So I came in undecided, and then I thought I wanted to be like a social studies teacher, and then that didn't work. So then I wanted to be an engineering technology management major, and that didn't work because I hate math. So I guess technically on, like, if you count undecided as a major, I'm on major 4 right now. But every step along the way, I've had friends and professors who've been there to support me. So I'd say in terms of like, if you really truly don't know like anything that you want to do, just get in and talk to your professor about what they do. Because like my freshman year, I essentially just got all my gen eds out of the way. And I was able to talk to my professors and see what interested them. But it kind of didn't kind of force me that way, but it made me think about what is interesting to me. And it kind of led me that way.
Great. Before we close out, I want to see if there's anyone here who would like to provide one last piece of advice or one last plug for SVSU before we announce our raffle winner.
My biggest piece of advice, no matter what college you go to, is it's what you make it. Anyone can go to college and stay in your bed all day and go to classes. It's a lot harder at SVSU to do that because your roommates will drag you out. But if you go out with the intention of like, I want to have friends, I want to have fun, I want college to be the best years of my life. Because as my boss likes to tell us, it doesn't get better than this. So making sure that you're actually going out and enjoying it, not being miserable, studying for all your classes. That's the best piece of advice I can give anyone for any college, making sure that you know that you're having fun in these next 4 years or more.
Thank you, Maddie. That's great. And Travis, any closing remarks for you?
I just want to thank everybody for being here. It's such a pleasure to be able to talk with students. You know, education is really important, and I want to make sure that you know that you can go to college. SVSU is a great option, but maybe we're not the perfect fit for you. So I don't want you to think that SVSU is the only option out there. And if you want to have questions about it, feel free to talk to me about it. I'll be quite honest. Maybe going to a community college is the great first step for you. And whatever it is, I'm more than welcome to have that conversation with you or any admissions rep at most universities or colleges you're thinking about going to. I'm more than happy to do that. But if you're thinking about going to college, it's a great option. It's going to open up doors for you. And just once again, thank you so much for being here today.
Great. Thank you, Travis. I'm pleased to share that Jaheim Moore has won the $25 Amazon gift card. So if you could please put your mailing address into the chat box directly to me, we will get that mailed out to you right away. With that, I would really want to thank you, Travis, Maddie, Natalie, Freddie, and Keith for taking time out of your day to talk with us about SVSU. It's very fun to connect with you. We'll be sharing this recording in the weeks to come with our youth who couldn't attend today. So everybody, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.